This conference will now be recorded.
Right. So in the last class, we discussed DOS attacks, understanding how to perform an attack where a user sends multiple huge amounts of traffic to a certain system. But again, as mentioned, from one singular system, that might not be causing much of an effect. So we can perform something called DDoS, where an attacker has a few zombies, and through those zombies, he initiates the same attack. Okay. So
Hello,
today we'll
Schwab.
perform. Yeah, Charles.
Yeah, I think the last time you said you would send us the UDP load something something to we didn't get it. I think I sent you a message.
You'd be flood application. Yeah, I saw your message, Charles. I'll share it after this class.
Sure, that's fine.
Right. So again, as mentioned, when you talk about DDoS attacks, you need an attacker machine, a zombie machine, and a victim machine to perform the attack. So the attacker and zombie both will be my Windows 7 machines, where I have a Windows 7 attacker and a Windows 7 victim as well. Okay. And I'll use my base machine here, Windows 11, as my victim machine. Okay, so I'll start the Wireshark application here. I'll click on capture options, select my Wi-Fi adapter, click on start capturing, and you can see it's capturing the data now. And while this is capturing the data, I'll go back to my attacker now. And just like any Trojan attack, we have a freak application here, which is a Trojan to perform a DDoS attack. Okay, so I'll go to my attacker, and in my attacker, I'll get that file first. I'll be sharing this file as well today, the freak application for DDoS attacks. Okay, and you have to share the same file to the victim machine as well. So firstly, run this application here. So click on client, run as administrator, and you can notice it is asking you to enter the IP of the infected system, which is a zombie here, and the IP to attack the victim's IP here. So you can connect multiple zombies. So you can run multiple instances of client, and you can keep on connecting as many devices as you want. Okay, in the free tool. But this is the client. So in order to connect to this victim machine, I mean the infected system, the zombie machine, we need to share the freak application to the other device and install it to open up that port. So this freak application always runs on port 7001, if you notice over here. So I'll go to my victim machine, my zombie machine here. Right now on this machine, there is no such port like 7001 open at the moment, if you notice. There is no such port as 7001 open anywhere. Okay, but as soon as I run the freak application here, so let's say I shared it through the shared folder, and when I run the server here, I run as admin. Yes, it says please wait while I load this in about 10 seconds. Okay, you can click on cancel, that doesn't matter. Okay, but if you now go to your command prompt, and now if you notice when you run netstart command, you can see there's this port 7001 open right now. Okay, and it's in a listening state. And if I check the IP of this machine, this is 0.8. Okay, so this is a direct connection, guys. So now in the attacker machine, I'll give that IP 192.168.0.8. I'll give the port number 7001. Click on connect. And when I do that, you can see it says connected to so and so IP. If I go to the zombie now, and if I check the net start again, earlier that port was in a listening state. 7001 was in a listening state. It was waiting for a connection. But now, carefully observe, it's going to be in an established state. So now this machine's port 7001 is connected to the attacker's machine through a zombie connection, through a Trojan connection, and the connection is established. Okay. And once it is established here, I can go back to my attacker and enter my final victim IP, Windows 11 IP here. So my Windows 11 is, if I go to my command prompt and if I check IP config, it should be 0.5 if you notice. And if I go back to my attacker, I can enter that same IP here. And if I click on this button here, take you out, this should initiate the attack now. Okay. Now, just to verify, if I go to my Windows 11 Wireshark, you can see there's some black colored lines here and there. If I scroll up, you can see black colored lines. Okay, And if I check the source of these packets, so if I check the source IP as the attacker's IP, ip.src equal to, and if I give the attacker's IP here, so my attacker's IP is 0.7. If I give 0.7 as the source, ip.src 192.168.0.7, and ip.destination BST, if I give my Windows 11 IP 0.5, you would notice I will not even find a single packet. So there's not even one single packet being initiated from an attacker, because the attacker is only making the zombies in the packets. So if I give my zombies IP now 0.8 here instead, I click on go, now you can see this malicious traffic over here, black colored lines everywhere. Okay. Right click on any packet, click on follow. Oh, so follow is not opening up, or it's a bit slow, it's hanging a bit, because again it's too many packets, but you can see the data here as well, just random data, alphabets A B C D E F G H I J K L M N O P Q R S T U V W X Y Z. Okay, it's repeating that same data again and again and again. Okay, so just a random packet with huge amounts of data in it, and these packets are continuously being sent by the zombie. Okay, now one more funny thing is, if I stop the attacker, let's say if I shut down the attacker completely, power shutdown, and if I go to my victim machine again, and if I click on start, continue without saving, so you can see the packets are still being captured. Okay, so you can see the mouse wheel scroll wheel moving upwards. Okay, because the packets are still being captured from 0.8. So no matter what the attacker does, once he starts the attack, and if he exits as well, if he completely hides his identity and shuts down the system as well, these zombies will still keep on sending traffic. Okay, that's how dangerous a DDoS attack is. Okay, so again, that is what DDoS is. Rather than you sending the packets from your own device, you make the zombies in between send the traffic to the victim. Okay, so that's what a DDoS attack is. Now coming to the solution, how do you prevent DOS or DDoS attacks? Okay, so it's a two-step process. In order to prevent DOS attacks or DDoS attacks, you need two steps for that, not one single. So the one step will not work without the other one. That's an important point to note. So now, firstly, you need something called load balancing servers. So again, if I draw this out, let's assume this is my attacker here, these are my zombies here, and this is my server here. Okay. Now, usually your attacker has connections to, oh, sorry. Usually your attacker has connections to all these zombies, and through these zombies, he initiates the attack to the victim server, right? So these packets come from the zombies. Now, first things first, your victim server needs to have something called load balancing servers, where there are certain backup servers, multiple servers at backup, where whatever traffic is received on this server is now equally distributed to multiple servers under it. Okay, so whatever load is coming now, this load is going to be redistributed among multiple devices. Now you might ask a question, why is this required? Now this load balancing server, again from the name itself you can understand, it is balancing the load. So whatever traffic is being received on the server, it is equally distributing it. And with these load balancing servers, now it has some more time to handle that traffic. But again, this is not a permanent solution. So at some point, all of these servers will get overloaded as well. But the servers, load balancing servers, give you some adequate amount of time to handle this traffic and to monitor and analyze this traffic. So you, with those load balancing servers, you're trying to achieve that time to handle and analyze the traffic. And in order to analyze and prevent those traffics, you need something called IDS and IPS systems. So there's again IDS and IPS systems here separately in your network, where they know they log every traffic coming in to the server and the load balancing servers. They analyze that and they themselves block this entire traffic, understanding that it is a DOS attack. But for this IDS and IPS to work, it needs some amount of time to analyze the traffic. And if there's no time, your IDS IPS will not be possible to block them to prevent the attack. So to get that time, you need a load balancing server to analyze the traffic. And after it is analyzed, it's prevented, it's blocked by a IDS IPS. Okay, so the two-part solution is you need a load balancing server to analyze traffic in adequate amount of time, and then you need IDS and IPS systems. Yes, intrusion detection and intrusion prevention systems to prevent or to block further reaching the servers. Okay. So for the IDS and IPS to work, it needs some time to analyze the traffic, and that can be obtained only with the load balancing servers. Okay. Is that clear? Charles, Ben. I think Ben, you mentioned in the last class what about load balancing servers? So yeah, this is the solution for it. Okay. Is that clear? Right. Perfect. So yeah, this is about DOS and DDoS attacks, guys. We have to move on to the next topic today, which is vulnerability scanning. So we are gonna install a new tool in the new topic called Enable Nessus. It's an expensive tool actually, if you notice. So if I click on the first link, this is vulnerability scanning. We have covered network and port scanning, but if you remember, we left out vulnerability scanning. Okay. Tomorrow's class, we're going to cover that. How do you perform vulnerability scanning and how do you install this tool first? So if you notice, it's quite an expensive tool.
Hello,
It's around
Sean.
7. Yeah, Charles.
Yeah, so sorry, I have a question. It just came to mind. So the IDS and IPS systems, what where do we really get them? Is it a third party tool or
It's a tool itself. Again, there are software-based tools available, so organizations have them installed. But just in case, if you
okay,
want to learn about IDS, IPS, there's applications online. So there's this application called Snot. Snot is an IDS and IPS application, open source application. So you can try again doing some research on this. Okay.
okay,
Snot is an
okay,
open source IPS and IDS. Okay, it uses a set of rules that help define malicious network activity. So basically, they filter traffic and analyze them, and they have certain patterns of, rules and patterns available pre-installed in them. And whenever packets come in with those patterns, they understand, okay, this is a malicious packet, and we got to block those. Okay, so it uses a series of rules that help define malicious network activity, and uses those rules to find packets that match against them and generates alerts for users. Okay,
okay.
so again,
So if I get
yeah.
you right, it means that you said companies already have them. So the companies don't really use the third parties, but they already have their own installed IDS and IPS system.
No, that's what they will have. What I mean by they'll already have them is they will have them pre-installed before you even join the organization. So again,
Okay,
but they would be using these third-party applications, Snort or there was one more application, forgot its name. Yes,
right.
ideas, yes, application. Yeah, Suricata. This was the one. I'm sorry, I forgot about it. So there's Snot. This is completely open source. There are other paid ones as well. Zeek or Suricata, Cisco Nginx, Palo Alto. So again, the organization can install any one of them. Okay, and they do monitor and analyze traffic and block malicious traffics. Pretty same like your firewall itself, but these IDS IPS have these rules and patterns pre-installed to understand what a malicious attack looks like. So it specifically gives you an alert saying so and so attack is being performed. So it knows what a DOS attack looks like, what a scanning attack looks like, okay, what a vulnerability scan looks like. So it exactly tells you this is what is happening in the network. Okay, exactly, Charles.
Yes, perfect. It's clear. Thank you.
Right. So yeah, as mentioned in the next class, we're going to be installing this tool called Vulnerability Scanner Nessus. But again, as mentioned, it's we won't be going for the paid version. Obviously, there's a trial version for it. We'll be installing that one. So I had to show this today itself, but again, since the strength is a bit low, and this is quite an important tool, we'll be talking about this in the session tomorrow. How do you install it, and how do you initiate a scan with it? Is what we'll talk in the session tomorrow. Okay. That's that, nothing further. I'm going to share the Freak application and the UDP Flutter application today through a wormhole link on the email, guys. You can get them from the email along with this recording as well. Okay, so that's that, nothing further. We can exit the session and connect back tomorrow at the same time. Bye bye.